Um, Hello? Jail? He needs double jail, triple jail. It's a grown man.
You said 16-year-old pregnant girlfriend.
I don't give a fuck what laws there are. I don't give a fuck about age of consent or anything. Jail. Jail. Nigga. Jail. Now. This video is titled 6 Most Disturbing 4chan Threads by Chilling Scares. This video came out 11 days ago, but like I should have uploaded this for Halloween, but you know, who really cares? I'll upload it when I feel like it because it's my channel. So let's just say that this was a Halloween special. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. It's just for the season.
November 29, 2007, an anonymous 4chan user uploaded a disturbing post with the words, "If anyone can correctly guess their own post number, I will tell you where she is buried." Eerily, the post was accompanied by an image of a teenage girl. For context, on 4chan, each thread is assigned a unique post number, which is completely random and serves as an identifier for that specific post.
Okay.
These kinds of posts where the OP would reward other users with something if they managed to guess their exact post number were pretty common. But the rewards themselves were rarely this dark and specific.
Okay.
You can probably understand how the creepy nature of this particular post instantly caught the attention of so many people. It's worth mentioning that the dates and times from the screenshots shown are the archive dates and times, meaning they're not accurate.
Okay.
But over the following minutes after the post was made, several other users jumped in to guess their post numbers. And just 15 minutes later, a user correctly guessed theirs. After which, the OP made good on their promise and said, "Winner, here you go," and then a set of coordinates. Strangely, the coordinates pointed to a pretty random patch of trees.
Nigga, this some Batman villain shit, bro. This some real, like, he gave you coordinates. They not, I don't get how people just like live day to day, like having like info like this. It's like, bro, what? Like, you know where someone's buried? You know, I'm guessing if you killed her or whatever. It's just like, so you notice, or like, I don't understand it. It just like, what does this like do for you?
On the side of a county road about 50 miles east of El Dorado, Kansas. But as it was later revealed, there was nothing random about the location. The girl in the image in the anonymous user's post was 18-year-old Emily Sander, a Butler Community College student who had gone missing a little less than a week before the disturbing post was made. Shockingly, the police found Sanders' partially clothed body around an hour after the coordinates were revealed at the exact coordinates provided by the user. It's important to mention that by the time the uploader revealed the coordinates on 4chan, the cops had already been investigating Emily's disappearance for a few days.
Okay.
And they were already zeroing in on a suspect. As the investigation had revealed, Emily had disappeared on November 23rd of that year after leaving a bar outside El Dorado with a man named Israel Mireles. According to two witnesses, Israel had bought Emily and her friends drinks at a Chinese restaurant in El Dorado before accompanying them at a bar called The Retreat.
Okay.
After the two left the bar, Emily was never seen alive again.
Damn.
Following the finding of some pretty compelling evidence of Israel's involvement in Emily's disappearance, the authorities put out a warrant for his arrest. But by then, Israel had already fled to Mexico. Fortunately, due to the severity of the crimes, the cops were able to extradite him back to Kansas for interrogation.
Okay.
During his testimony, the suspect claimed that after they had left the bar, he and Emily had gone back to a motel room together. According to his version of the events, at one point in the night, another man had shown up at the motel room and tried to rob him, after which he allegedly left the motel alone. When he came back a few hours later, Sanders was supposedly dead. The story is already kind of hard to believe, especially when you factor in that after allegedly finding the lifeless victim in the room, Israel claimed that he panicked, put her body in the trunk of his car, and headed to a house where his 16-year-old pregnant girlfriend was staying in nearby Baxter Springs.
I'm sorry, absolutely not. What? Hello? Jail? He needs double jail, triple jail. It's a grown man.
You said 16-year-old pregnant girlfriend.
I don't give a fuck what laws there are. I don't give a fuck about age of consent or anything. Jail. Jail. Nigga. Jail. Now.
Again, this was already a huge stretch, and it didn't exactly help Israel's case that investigators found a large knife and clothing with his DNA in a trash can at his girlfriend's
like,
home
it's
in
raps for
Baxter
him.
Springs. When it was more than obvious that Israel was responsible for the crime, a judge
Yes.
sentenced him to life in prison without parole.
Okay, thank you.
As for the 4chan thread, I couldn't find any official confirmation that the post was uploaded by Israel. And it's worth mentioning that because
Probably
the coordinates
was.
were revealed a little under an hour before the cops officially announced where they had found Emily, the thread could have been opened by someone on the police force who knew about the location before the public. Still, there's a very real possibility that the 4chan post was uploaded by the killer himself, adding an even more disturbing layer to an already horrific crime.
Oh, and then frame Israel. Oh, damn. Now he's serving life.
On August 25, 2009, a 4chan user opened a thread with the title,
I think if I was to get framed with having to do life in prison, I'd just kill myself. Just in GTA, just like fully just like take it all away. Like I couldn't.
Look what I found. The caption read, "So I was looting through some stuff my dad left when he died, and I found this. The old bastard had a live grenade."
Random story real quick, right? I used to notice, I knew this girl that had a grenade. She said her dad had a grenade, and because he used to be in the military or whatever, and she said she was in the basement with her sibling one time, and she pulled the pin on the grenade by accident, and supposedly she was able to put it back in time so it didn't explode. She said she was younger then, so, you know, it just blew up her whole house just with a active grenade.
It seems kind of old, but looks okay to me. What would the random board do with it? Next to the caption was an image of the OP's hand holding what appeared to be a live grenade. For the next 15 minutes, the thread was flooded with all kinds of comments from users all around the world, with some claiming that the grenade was fake and asking the uploader for proof that it was made out of real metal and wasn't just a plastic imitation. Let me see the bottom of it. Bottom. It's plastic, lol. No plastic, dimwit, it's all metal. With this comment, the OP included an image of himself holding up a lighter to a grenade, which is obviously a horrific idea.
Yeah, what? No plastic. What would you do if you just open the door and somehow, some way, your like 17-year-old son has a fucking grenade in his room and he's putting a lighter to it? Do you run towards him and like, or do you close the door and then just hope it don't explode? Which one do you do?
Still, it
I'm
was
closing
nothing
that door.
compared to what was coming. Disturbingly, some of the other
Closing that door
commenters
all the
encouraged
way.
the poster to throw the grenade in the toilet, saying things like, "Toss in toilet, don't flush, wait for epic fountain." You would think that the OP would be able to interpret the comment as a joke, but sure enough, a few minutes later
Nah,
he
he
posted another
actually-
image, this time showing his hand holding the live grenade over the toilet along with the caption, should I? This is where the story gets pretty disturbing. After posting this image, the OP suddenly went silent. Over the following minutes, other commenters jumped in to ask him what he ended up doing with the grenade, but there was no response from the OP.
Oh my
Shortly
God.
after, a commenter uploaded a screenshot of an article that had been published by a news station in Guatemala that same day. Chillingly, the article broke the story of a 17-year-old boy named Oscar.
What did I say? How did I know it was gonna be a 17-year-old son? I told it's always 17. It doesn't matter. It's always 17. It's never any other age. It's like they hit 17, something happened, and they're just dumb. They're just dumb. I don't know. I didn't do stuff like this at 17. I knew he was 17. They're always 17. I don't know what's up with 17 and them just being like evil or just weird or creepy, but it's always 17.
Lopez, who had passed away after detonating a live grenade in the bathroom of his house. According to the article, the boy's dad had been involved in the military at some point, which explains why it was in his home. Because of the timing, most of the commenters concluded that Oscar Lopez was the OP and immediately condemned the users who encouraged him to throw the grenade in the toilet.
That's not their fault though. We didn't think he was this stupid to actually put a grenade and explode it and kill himself.
In the weeks following the incident, several news stations from Spanish-speaking countries published the story, which brought a lot of attention to the original thread on 4chan. Over the years, the story of Oscar's grenade has been reposted all over the internet thousands of times. And it's made its way into dozens of YouTube videos covering the most disturbing incidents caused by online threads.
Okay.
However, through my research, I wasn't able to find the original article or anything that would indicate that this story was real. Even after spending hours searching through online archives, I found absolutely no trace of the original article, which suggests that the article could have been faked. The only articles I did find were the ones that were published after the incident and cited only the original, non-existent article as their source. It's also pretty suspicious that the article was allegedly published pretty much within an hour of the OP's last comment, which further supports the idea that the whole thing was faked. It's possible that the OP himself could have posted the photoshopped article screenshot from another account to get attention.
True. Yep, because if you just make a fake article, but why? But then where do you get like a flick like this from? Do you just like Google search that and just find that? Or is that like, where do you get like a, because realistically, if I'm looking at it, it looks like it blew up, right? And it looks like this is like the remains of the toilet somehow. There's this white part, and then everything else is obviously destroyed in rubble. It was just like, that's crazy. You sat here with a grenade in the house.
Or that he could have made the original post and then went quiet to get a reaction from the crowd, after which another user could have jumped in to keep the story going with a fake news article. Although, it's still very possible this is real, and the original article has just since been lost to time. Because the incident is over 15 years old at this point, we'll likely never know the whole truth.
I mean, yeah, and nor will anyone really care.
Back in 2009, dozens of 4chan users started to bring attention to a pretty strange phenomenon that was
I really want to know who uses 4chan. Like, realistically, when this website came out, who was the target audience for this type of stuff, bro? Like, y'all just be on the web, like, y'all just be on the internet, and y'all just, like, do weird shit. Everything that comes from 4chan is the most vile, disgusting, darkest, like, weirdest shit you'll ever see in your life. And it's like, who goes on here?
Taking place all over the internet, in which some mysterious comments about key lime pie were cropping up on countless websites, blogs, and forums everywhere online. Although the original 4chan threads in which these discussions took place have since been deleted, I was able to find some more recent Reddit threads covering the same key lime pie phenomenon. In 2016, Reddit user KeyLimeWTF uploaded a long post about his or her investigation into the whole thing, and it read, "So, I'm just gonna throw this one out there since I haven't found anyone who's investigated or discussed this super weird, almost nonsensical mystery. To begin, I was reading a story in my local college newspaper. In fact, it was the most read article on the site. There were 3 comments on the story itself, and one of them seemed utterly strange. There's an absurd amount of references to pop culture names as well as some political names. But the subject of every line relates back to, more often than not, these things. Mrs. Anita Pelaez, Captain Coochie Pelaez, Key Lime Pie, some Coochie's restaurant, North Carolina near the Biltmore Estate, Key West, Florida. And not every post is exactly the same, but some are. Some reference weird pop culture icons, while some just seem to be weird out-of-place pie recipes. The oldest post we found was from 2009, with the most recent being an awful TMZ story. Super weird, but if you were to Google or research those names associated with key lime pie, what you would discover is that this has been posted all over US media sites. A couple of things here that we discovered down the rabbit hole. Coochie's Key West Bar and Grill existed in one way or another. It's listed on local eatery websites and Google Maps, but there's really no information as to what exactly it was. The majority of the posts we found were done by a Jake Carson, a fake name, or by celebrity/political figures. Nothing totally makes sense, yet everything is related. Also, who would go through this much trouble for something as ridiculous as key lime pie for a restaurant that isn't real? I found that pretty much everything the OP was talking about in their post was perfectly true. There are indeed thousands upon thousands of strange comments and reviews about Captain Coochie's key lime pies on countless random websites. And a lot of these comments have appeared on sites that have absolutely nothing to do with pie, such as this extremely long and somewhat inappropriate comment that was posted on a memorial site for a woman from San Jose who passed away at 74. As I also found, a lot of these comments are posted in articles and blogs revolving around suggestive content, such as this other one that appears in an article about a dating show. It reads, "That Captain Coochie Pelaez of Cucharidaville over in Asheville, North Carolina sure enough is one wild and crazy guy. All the women are so wild about him and his famous cheeseburgers and key lime pies." But even though these comments are definitely weird, these are just two of thousands of accounts that have been created to post these comments everywhere online. As you might have noticed, the phrasing of these rants seem to follow a bit of a pattern. In pretty much all of the comments, almost all the words have been capitalized where they shouldn't be, and the poster always signs off in the same way, with 3 dots after the last word, followed by a fake name. I found that these comments have also been made on random Facebook posts.
What if this is just like one person thinking this is like a troll trend and he just like spamming the same thing and y'all just like, he just done it so much it looks like something's happening. I don't get it. I don't get where we're like, what are we like freaking out over?
As you might have guessed, a bunch of people over the years have reached out to these Facebook accounts, and the responses they've gotten have been pretty disturbing, as you can see in this 2016 Reddit thread. The post reads, "I decided to send Coochie Pelaez a message and ask him when the world can know who Captain Coochie is. I didn't expect a reply, but roughly a month later Coochie replied, 'There's just no medicine like an all-natural key lime pie made from scratch.'
What are we talking
Plus
about?
a bunch of other garbled nonsense about key lime pie. After a little bit of back and forth, the user asked Captain Coochie for the address of the restaurant, and this was the response they got. 'Close your eyes, let your ears listen to the radio. Do you hear my voice? Can you hear your own soul scream? Let me choose. My voice that predicts the future or your tormented reach. What do you choose? You can choose. Your life, your future. As smart as you are, you may have already found out that the radio drama from 75 years ago was the truth. They are on our planet, and they watch and see everything. Don't trust anyone. Don't trust the police. They are already controlled by them." And a few more lines of paranoid ranting. Strangely, the original message was sent in Swedish, which is the Reddit user.
I'm not gonna lie. I can't take this specific one serious solely because it's like, nigga, we're talking about key lime pie. Like, we gotta get to another one, bro.
Native language. What makes this disturbing is that there was nothing on the user's profile indicating that their first language was Swedish, which indicates that Captain Coochie could have stalked the user. And eerily, this wasn't the only time this happened.
What?
Whenever people reached out to these accounts to ask for information about the key lime pie phenomenon, they would often receive strange responses with very specific information about their lives that the key lime pie people had no reason to know. The rabbit hole in this—
now you got me. See? Now. So it's kind of like you'll DM them and then they'll say something about your personal life that it's like, how do you even know that? And it's like, nigga, you talk about okay.
This mystery goes pretty deep, but some things have been confirmed to be true. For example, as mentioned in the Key Lime WTF's Reddit post, Coochie's Key West Bar and Grill was a real place in Asheville, North Carolina. According to dozens of Reddit users, the original owners were Oswald C. Pelaez, aka Coochie, and his wife Anita Pelaez. But interestingly, even though the random comments and reviews are almost all about pie, the restaurant was actually known for its burgers. Still, despite this information, it's hard to understand where the connection is.
Okay, if they're known for, they don't know because there's a lot of places that are known for something, but then they also have something on the side that's also like really, really, really bomb. That is just like, that's not their specialty, but they have one of the best of that certain item. It's not like a, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like a crazy thing.
Is between the restaurant and the 15-year-long campaign to flood the internet with strange reviews about their key lime pies.
Like Cheesecake Factory, you know, they have cheesecakes, right? and they're supposed to be known for cheesecakes, but everyone knows Cheesecake Factory serves really good food. Now that doesn't take away, like, you see what I mean? Like, you don't.
Over the years, this has led thousands of people all over the internet to come up with all kinds of theories to explain the phenomenon.
Over key lime? I don't
the first theory is that
this
all the comments and reviews are coming from a single poster. Technically, this is a possibility. I mean, it's not uncommon for people with extreme obsessive personalities to become fixated on something as random as key lime pie and dedicate years to spreading bizarre content across the internet. However, the sheer volume of posts, accounts, and languages involved makes this kind of hard to believe. If you think about it, this would require the poster to individually open and verify thousands and thousands of sub-accounts, which would require a ton of different email addresses and more time than we can imagine. This is why a lot of people have suggested that all of these comments could be coming from a bot. The fact that all the comments are written in a similar style makes this a possibility, but there's one major caveat here. Over the past couple of decades, Google has really cracked down on bot accounts, making it increasingly difficult for random bots to open accounts and post comments on random blogs and sites.
Or he could just be a really good, like, scripter, like hacker, or whatever you want to call him. Just a really good, like, he's like really good at it. Like, it don't matter what Google's cracking down if he's that good at what he's doing.
And sure, this could be a pretty advanced bot that's been updated over the years to be Google's security measures.
It's supposed to be 6 most disturbing. We're halfway through the video and we only talked about 2.
There's really very little motive for anyone to take the time to design something like this. So, in the absence of a solid explanation, some slightly more disturbing theories have been proposed by the online community. According to one of the most popular ones, these comments could be a coded method of communication for some sort of cult or underground organization with
nigga, y'all stressing over key lime pie? Bruh, come on, yo. What is this?
For purposes. This could explain the endless, seemingly random pop culture references and indecipherable strings of garbled text with random capitalization. I also found some Reddit comments where the users alleged that Kuchi's Key West Bar and Grill was being used as a cover-up for something more sinister. For example, in 2017...
Get out, bro. Come on. I'm tired of hearing about key lime pie. Like, realistically, I am. It's key lime pie. Who cares?
For a long time.
The owners probably don't even know none of this is happening. And even if they are alive or they aren't, whatever, it's just like, this is such a niche, small sub-community of a sub-community of a sub-community that no one cares.
On Christmas Day 2014, an anonymous 4chan user opened a pretty disturbing thread with the words,
the only thing that was disturbing about it was like them knowing info about like certain things that like you really shouldn't know.
I bought a Wii U, but it was broken, so I opened the Wii U, and this thing was inside. What is this? Next to the captions, the user uploaded a couple of images of some sort of brown, oval-shaped object inside the console. At first glance, the OP thought it was probably something an animal had left in there, but a few minutes later, he followed up with some images that looked like something straight out of a nightmare. Apparently, the brown object was some sort of spider nest, and as soon as the OP cracked it open, it looked like this. A few minutes later, the poster commented, "At least the spiders are already dead. Whatever happened, it's an egg opened too soon or an egg that never managed to open. The spiders must have devoured each other to stay alive and eventually grew to max capacity and truly died. The size shows they're adults, but the color shows they literally have no plating or skin." 3 minutes later, the OP gave a chilling update saying, "This one was still alive." And this is where the thread starts to get a little disturbing. Just a few seconds later, another user commented on the post saying, "Okay, I googled it for you, OP. That's a dirt dauber nest. The spiders are paralyzed inside of it. If they're not dead by now and they're actually fresh catches, they're gonna be waking up soon." And responding to the image of the live spider the OP posted, the user warned, "This spider kind of looks like a brown recluse. If you let it sting you, your arm is gonna start rotting while you're alive." Responding to the original picture,
realistically, blow it up. Blow the house up. Blow the house up. Let's blow the house up. Remember the grenade from the last one? Bring that grenade and we need to throw it in this room. Walk away for a good 25 to 30 minutes. Come back. If they're not dead, call on Jesus.
of the spiders, another user commented, "By the looks of it, the last one just woke up, and the dirt dauber might not even have started laying its larvae yet. If that's the case, these might all just be paralyzed. Also, I'm afraid for OP's life, since the spider that did wake up looks like a brown recluse, and if that's actually the case, the OP has a dirt dauber nest full of brown recluses. He's in for one hell of a ride." Over the next several minutes, dozens of other users jumped in the chat to warn the OP not to provoke the spiders under any circumstances.
What you mean?
Fortunately, shortly after, the OP posted a final update to the thread saying, "OP here, they weren't dead and they started to move. I ran out of my house and called the exterminator. I'm posting from my cell phone." It's pretty disturbing to think that a nest of poisonous spiders could be growing inside of one of your consoles without you knowing it. And according to—
See, here they go with this YouTube shit. Let me look on my PC. Is there just a dirt dauber nest here? Haven't seen one for the past 18 years.
To another commenter, it's actually pretty common for dirt daubers to do this. Thankfully, it looks like the OP was okay.
Man, first of all, I'm not gonna lie. If I managed to, first of all, I wouldn't even have opened it. I would have threw it away. If I opened it and saw any bit of spiders, of legs or whatever, we're slamming that bitch closed so fast and lighting it on fire. No one's waking up to anything. I'm like blowing it up. We are getting that, and man, I would take the biggest trash bag, throw them bitches in there, tie that shit up, and get the fattest Timberlands I know and just wail on that shit until I feel like I'm done. After that, bro, launching that shit into the farthest fucking forest I could ever find and never coming back.
In March 2020, an anonymous 4chan user posted an image of a missing girl named Lisa Irwin, along with a set of coordinates that point to a random location in the middle of the trees somewhere in Lakeside Village, Kansas. For context, Lisa had gone missing in October 2011 when she was just a 10-month-old baby. That day, Jeremy Irwin, Lisa's dad, came back from work at 4 a.m. and immediately called the cops when he saw his daughter was missing from her crib. Disturbingly, he mentioned to his wife Deborah that the front door was unlocked and that 3 cell phones were missing. During the investigation, a bunch of really strange things started happening, and it was hard for the cops to make sense of anything. Even though some witnesses had reported seeing a strange man carrying a baby wearing a diaper near the area where Lisa had gone missing, they didn't have enough evidence to arrest a particular suspect. Surveillance video from the area showed a man dressed in white leaving a wooded area near the Irwin's house at 2:30 a.m., but the suspect the cops brought in as a result of the footage had rock-solid alibis. Chillingly, when the cops searched the Irwin's house that same year, dogs picked up the scent of a dead body in Deborah's bedroom. When the authorities confronted her about it, she claimed she didn't initially look for her daughter because she was afraid of what she might find. This was just the first in a series of strange claims and contradictions that Lisa's mom would find herself in. Later, she would allege that the last time she had seen her baby, it had been around 10:30 p.m. But after, she confessed that she had been drinking with a friend and didn't remember when the last time she saw her daughter was. Investigators also accused Deborah of failing a lie detector test, and even her own best friend told the police that Deborah had a dark side and that she believed she could have been responsible for the disappearance of her own daughter.
You know how much... Do you know how much Jesus would have to hold me back in that room? I want you to know, if I came home and my daughter's gone because of my wife, oh my fucking goodness, yo, you better pray for her, no cap. Pray for her. I'ma be in that bitch like prime Mike Tyson. Gervonta Davis. I'm gonna be in that bitch like Canelo. I'ma have her shit so fucked up. I'm be so, oh my god, let me find out she did anything to my daughter. No cap, she's getting cooked. Oh, I don't want to hear shit. I'll go to jail after if I have to. I don't care. I will brutally.
Strangely, the cops later found that one of the 3 cell phones that were taken from the house had made a 50-second call late on the night Lisa went missing. But both Deborah and Jeremy denied making the call. When the cops investigated the call, they found that it had been made to a Kansas City woman named Megan Wright. Interestingly, Megan had once been in a relationship with a suspect in the case, a drifter who lived in a halfway house close to the Irwins. Still, she denied being the one who had picked up the phone on the night of Lisa's disappearance. To this day, the cops are convinced that whoever made that call is responsible for whatever happened to Lisa, but in the absence of new evidence, the case went cold for a very long time. The image you see in the 4chan thread is actually an age-progressed picture released by the authorities to help the public identify the victim, and it shows what Lisa would have looked like at 7 years old. As soon as the user posted the coordinates, some of the commenters started suspecting that the OP was the perpetrator, and that the coordinates pointed to the location in the middle of the woods where Lisa's body was located. One user commented, "I just emailed this thread to 2 local NBC affiliates in Kansas that cover the Thompsonville and Oskaloosa area. Hopefully this is legit and we can finally do some good and bring peace to a family." But even though a lot of people got in touch with the police over the leaked coordinates, frustratingly, nothing really came of them. And it's unclear if the cops just didn't investigate the coordinates, or if they did but they didn't find anything there. To this day, Lisa's disappearance has created more questions than answers. Was it the guy who was seen in the surveillance footage? Was it the parents? Or the 4chan user?
No, don't try to include the dad. I mean, the dad could have, but like realistically, you're telling me the mom. No, I don't want to hear nothing. Cause let it be the mom. Let it be the mom. I don't care who it is. Whoever it is getting the craziest hands of their career. Realistically, I don't care. Realistically, it could be the dude walking down the street. It could be the 4chan user or the mom. Rated E for everybody, because everybody rate get it. I don't care.
We'll likely never know. As you probably know, one of the most popular features of 4chan was that it allowed it to...
That was my baby. She ready to get worked. I took the mic off the stand. She ready to get worked. Nigga?
Users to stay completely anonymous, which was part of the culture of the forum. Still, some users chose to have a username to put more weight behind their words and engage in genuine social interactions with others. This was the case with user UTV, who was very active on the 4chan sports board back in the day. Based on his post, UTV was an Englishman who followed the Premier League, was a fan of Aston Villa striker Christian Benteke, and hated Manchester City. Most of his interactions in the boards he participated in are pretty much exactly what you'd expect from a slightly aggressive sports fan in an online board.
Yeah.
But there was one thing that made UTV's post stand out in the sea of 4chan threads. Strangely, UTV had a secret admirer, an anonymous user who tracked, archived, and followed every single one of UTV's posts and comments across more than 250 threads. Whenever UTV posted anything, the anonymous user would archive his posts, comment on them, and summarize his activities with perfect precision. At first, it was kind of funny, and it seemed like the user was just a troll who liked to mess with UTV for no particular reason. And it seemed like the trolling had the desired effect, as UTV would often blurt out some pretty aggressive comments at the anonymous user, frustrated with the level of obsession the user had developed towards him. In one thread, UTV commented, "Archiving my posts in here is one thing, but you're actually stalking me in other threads too. Get a life." After weeks of stalking and obsessing over UTV's every move, the user earned himself the nickname The Archiver from other board members who found his activities hilarious. Unfortunately for UTV, the more he engaged with the Archiver, the more the Archiver would obsess over logging, categorizing, summarizing, praising, and decorating his posts. And like I said, at first it was kind of funny, especially if you were just a random 4chaner watching the whole thing develop from a distance. But after a few weeks, the plot took a pretty creepy turn. In July 2013, the Archiver was no longer satisfied with simply logging the posts, so he started composing songs and poems based on UTV's interests and personality, including a limerick that read, "There was once a young Phil from Kent who loved to call Frodo an ent. He bet against Villa in a 3-1 thriller. They lost and his money was sent." It's worth noting that UTV's real name was actually Phil, meaning the Archiver had started finding out more and more personal information about him as time went on. Over the following weeks, the Archiver progressed from songs and poems to other kinds of worship and obsession, which included making ink blot tests featuring UTV's posts. as well as designing detailed floor plans for the home he would like to live in if he and UTV ever moved in together. He even made preparations for UTV's funeral with detailed instructions for his family to follow on the day of the ceremony. The madness continued for several weeks until on October 7, the archiver made his final post about UTV in the TRB board saying, "I have been with UTV for 255 threads. This is the last one. My parents have discovered my UTV works and they have insisted I remove everything of the type from my computer and be done with it.
Okay.
They will be monitoring my activities now to ensure I cannot do it anymore. This is my final message.
No, you just
I'm
lying.
sorry to UTV and I hope he sees this and understands. I have one more gift to share with him. This 97-page document contains every personal work I've created that involves UTV in any way. It is for him. I do not want anyone else to read it. However, I cannot stop you from doing so." As the entire internet soon found out, the archiver wasn't lying about the document. He literally compiled an almost 100-page PDF featuring everything he had written and designed over almost 5 months of insane obsession over a random dude on 4chan. The Phil Marillion, as the archiver titled the document, contained detailed information about Phil's posts, his interests, and his interactions with the archiver. On the front page, an explanation for the document reads, "Why am I doing this? Because UTV is my passion, my hobby, and my social life. I love him, and I love archiving his posts. Archiving his posts isn't enough. They are my bread and butter, but this is the salt and pepper on the sandwich that spices it up." The rest of the 97-page document is about as crazy as you'd expect from a guy who spent all his waking hours stalking another guy on 4chan. It contains detailed stories and fantasies involving the archiver and UTV, a detailed plan to make UTV like him more, pictures of inventions and gadgets the archiver designed using snippets of UTV's posts, an incredibly dark and meticulously planned blueprint to abduct UTV and hold him hostage for £40 million. And so much more stuff that you can't even imagine. When the archiver shared his masterwork, Phil responded only with a question mark and then vanished forever from 4chan. To this day, the internet still doesn't know what to make of the archiver or his motivations behind obsessing over a stranger to such an
That's just like...
insane degree. Some allege mental illness, others think the archiver just genuinely loved Phil. But whatever the case, the PDF served as a wake-up call to be careful who you talk to or give information about yourself online.
Man, he wasn't
because you
even
never really know
enjoyed
what
that
to
video.
expect.
Make sure to check out another video like that. You know, just click it right here. You don't got to sub or nothing, bro. I'm making it easy. Just click the video. It's on your screen already. Might as well. Go ahead, click it.